This could possibly be the most annoying video I've ever made. Are you gonna work right this time? Are you focusing? Focusing. Focusing. Think we're good. This is my second attempt at filming this. I recorded it once earlier and I found out after filming that my face was out of focus for the whole video, so we're doing this again. That right back there is our redneck little plastic kiddie pool drying, and the orange right about there, that is a redneck rigging up of our extension cords. So as you can see, I'm filming in a different location today. I didn't earlier, but given the time of day, I have to be out here. So hopefully it adds something to the video. Hopefully you guys like a little bit of change in scenery. And if you look real close, you can see dogs begging to come in. Oh, what a lovely backdrop this is for this video. Like 10 out of 10 for professionalism, am I right? So today, given that the new school year is on the horizon, actually a lot of people I know are already in school, but regardless, given that we are jumping into the 2018-2019 school year, I thought there couldn't be a better video to make. Stuff in my teeth, that's attractive. We're just a hot mess today. Given that we are jumping into the 2018-2019 year, I figured there couldn't be a better topic to discuss right now than dealing with ADHD when it comes to school. Now, it's been a hot minute since I was in school. I graduated back in 2007 from high school, and then I went to college for 3 years, but the last time I was in college was like 2011. So it's been a minute since I have been in school. I'm currently in online college to finish up getting that degree. So here in this video, we don't discriminate. Are you in high school? Are you in middle school? Are you in elementary school? I don't know why you'd be watching a 30-year-old if you're in elementary school, but maybe. Are you in college? Are you in online college? We don't discriminate here. Everyone's welcome. So come on! Even if you don't have ADHD, this could be helpful information. So I just wanted to talk about some tips. So, I always say so.
What?
And cue the children coming in. This is why I don't film in this room. This is literally the worst idea I ever had. So without further ado, let's talk about some tips for surviving school when you have ADHD. Now, if you haven't been following my channel for a while or you're new, just a little background information. I was not diagnosed with ADHD until I was 25, so I was not in school anymore, not in high school. So the tips and tricks I have aren't necessarily things I put into practice when I was in high school or middle school or elementary school, but they're things that I have since learned and things that I have applied in college. So the first, biggest, most important tip, just in school and life, anything that I can tell you if you have ADHD and you have trouble remembering things, which is a big symptom of ADHD, write things down. When it comes to school, I have a calendar specifically just for my schoolwork, and I write down all of my due dates on the day that things are due with a little checkbox, so I'm able to cross it off or make a check, and that gives me a sense of accomplishment, which is really motivating. But if it was not for that calendar, it would be too easy for me to forget due dates of projects. This is something that I kind of did in high school. I wish I would have done it more. Somehow I never miss projects. Writing things down really helps you not be able to forget and not have projects creep up on you. As I mentioned before, I have like multiple calendars. I write things down multiple times throughout my day. With schoolwork, I just have one calendar in one place where I write stuff down. But on my other calendars, where I even have one that breaks down like the days of the week, and I have ones that have like a monthly overlook. And on the one that breaks down the days of the week, I like to schedule out time that I'm going to spend doing homework. Sometimes this is like an hour a day that whole week up until the point that something's due. Sometimes it's just one day a week where I slot some time. It's an indefinite amount of time where I just sit and I'm like, I'm gonna do my homework. But writing things down is very helpful, I have found. Because one, it makes it harder for you to forget, because the more times you write it, the more it gets into your memory, which is one reason why I have multiple calendars. Two, it's somewhere where you can just visually see it. It's It's right there in your face, so it's a lot harder to forget. So that would probably be my absolute biggest tip when it comes to school, so you don't forget homework assignments and you stay on task, and even just like fun stuff like dates you plan with your friends or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, things like that. It's just really great. And it helps my brain feel a lot less crazy and all over the place. It helps me feel more organized if I can see that I have everything scheduled and planned out. Another tip I have is about motivation. If you are anything like me, it's hard to get motivated to sit down, especially if it's for something like doing homework. Sometimes Mondays are just really hard. Regardless of what it is, when it comes to schoolwork, I find it's really, really helpful if I motivate myself. It's really hard for me to just sit down and do work. Quiet, you! Sometimes it's really, really hard for me to just sit down and do work, and so I find it's really helpful if I motivate myself. And if you're anything like me, you will be food motivated. I mean, I've got donuts on my shirt for today's video. I don't know if that says anything. I'm very, very food motivated. So say I've got a project due tomorrow, a discussion question for my online school, and I really don't want to sit down and do it, but I know I have to do it. And say I also am kind of having a hankering for a piece of chocolate. I might get a piece of chocolate, and that is my reward for sitting down to do my homework. I do not get that chocolate until I'm either halfway done with my homework, maybe it's just rewarding myself for sitting down and starting my homework, or maybe it's something I don't reward myself with until after the homework is done. But regardless, I like to give myself some sort of incentive to actually sit down and get the work done. Plus, that makes kind of a positive association between homework and I don't know how you say it. It makes a positive association for homework. There we go. So that way you're like excited to sit down and do your homework because you're gonna get that cup of tea, or you're gonna get that piece of chocolate, or you're gonna get to do that thing later that you've been waiting to do until you did your homework. Now, this isn't so much a tip as it just is an overall empathetic statement, I guess you could say. Oftentimes when you have ADHD, whether you know that you have it or not, you just feel different than everybody else. And sometimes this is something that's very difficult when you're in school. Please don't sit there and be hard on yourself or beat yourself up or feel like you're less than just because you've got something going on that not everybody does. And please, please also don't be afraid to talk to somebody. If I had known that I had ADHD when I was going through high school and middle school, it would have changed a lot of things for me. There are people, counselors, therapists, teachers even, that are trained to know how to better suit your needs when it comes to school. They may have studying tips, because studying for me was nearly impossible. I would have loved to have learned a foreign language. I still would love to, and I've studied Japanese, but it was just always really hard for me because of the ADHD. I didn't know that's what it was at the time. And if people had known, there might have been some tricks and tips that they could have told me that would have made my learning experience a lot easier and a lot more effective, instead of me just sitting and staring at study material for hours and hours and hours and then doing horrible on tests. I'm talking like C's, D's, E's, F's. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. This video sucks. Guys, sorry to shock and disturb you, coming at you looking like this all of a sudden out of the blue at the end of this video. I'm looking a wreck. I just wanted to give you guys a proper conclusion to this video and a little explanation as to why we're here today. So yesterday, as I mentioned, when I was filming, I had to record that video. That was the second time. What you saw at the end just now was literally the end of everything that I had recorded. On the topic of ADHD, because that's what this video is about, I just have to apologize. I was very distracted while I was filming that. My energy levels weren't the same. I was filming in front of a window, and my girls were playing right outside by the window with the neighbors, and I kept being distracted by all the activity I was seeing. Just let me apologize for that. I guess it's a good example of seeing ADHD in action. And I honestly was so frustrated when I was editing, and I was like, I'm gonna redo this whole, I have to redo this whole thing. But then I thought, what is this video about? Surviving school with ADHD. And the things I had to say, I feel like it's important and I want to give my best self to my audience. But what's the main goal of my channel? to be real. It's to be honest, to not be some flawless picture of perfection. And so then I started thinking, maybe I'll just give a proper goodbye and a proper wrap up today with no makeup on, because sometimes that's my issue, is I have to record this again. But it's the end of the day. I don't want to put a fresh face of makeup on since I've been home cleaning all day. And at the gym, I don't want to waste the makeup. Like, girls, like, you hear me, you know the struggle. But I need to film this again. And then I thought, why? That was real. That was authentic. That was already your second take. You had kids interrupting you. That's life. And that's what this channel's about. I've always tried to keep it real. I've always tried to leave in my stutterings, my imperfections, my mistakes, my kids coming in and interrupting me, my obese bulldog or my fluffy Pomeranian like coming in, and it's just real. And so I thought maybe the best way to wrap up this video would be to come to you guys as I am, makeupless, and just tell you all that I hope you have an awesome school year. Surviving school and getting good grades when you have ADHD can seem like a sometimes impossible task. And as I said, I didn't know I had it back when I was in high school and middle school. But those are some tough times, and just know that if you have ADHD or you think you have ADHD, or even if you don't, just know that there's people like me out there who struggled and who can empathize with the struggle of just studies and getting homework done, but also just the social struggles and feeling like an outcast. I felt like an outcast my whole life. I had some good friends and I knew some really great people, but at the end of the day, I was very much a loner. And so if you're a loner like I was, just know that I'm with you. If you have ADHD like I do, and that can make things seem so much worse and so much more lonely, know that I'm with you. I'm pulling for you. I hope you have an amazing school year this year. If you're in college was a whole different world for me, and I enjoyed it so much more, but the studies with the ADHD, it was so hard, and life is just hard. And just know that you got me in your corner. If nobody else, you got me. This introverted, awkward empath with ADHD who's insecure, and you got me. I'll be putting out content there with you. I know we can't meet face to face, but I'll be here with you in YouTube if you just want to check in and hopefully get some laughs or somebody to just relate to. I'm here, so I hope I can be that for you. And thank you to those of you who have already been along on the journey and just enjoyed the videos I put out, because you guys feed something in me too. Here's to an awesome year.